It's okay. I don't need a. I got a new, better computer now. I'm a
You
new, better
sure?
man.
You sure do. A new, better computer that can't play Assassin's Creed.
Shut the fuck up, okay? It's too good for some games, okay?
This is All Games Go to Heaven, episode 11, Star Fox 64. But hey,
Anyways,
we're back. We are back, baby. A bit of a extended delay that we didn't expect, but we are back.
I expected it. I expect life to throw tons of surprises at me, at least. I never know about you, but me, for sure.
Oh yeah, you expected your house to catch fire?
I expected some like natural calamity to take place, but it works out. But it works out because at the end of the day, I keep joking that the sad thing of my house burning down was actually created by Steve in another city because he has consistently told me I would never finish Elden Ring. And now, because the house burned down, with all my save storage of Elden Ring, I'll never actually finish Elden Ring now. You manifested it.
I said I didn't believe you would finish, not that you wouldn't. There is a distinction. So I still don't think that I manifested that, and I mean, you still have Elden Ring. You could finish it if you want to. I'm not taking any blame
Yeah,
for
I
it.
know. I know. And there's a part of me that's feels unfulfilled. Like the challenge is not complete. Like I'm lesser than because I haven't finished Elden Ring.
Yeah, whenever you talk about that, I'm always reminded of that scene from Rounders, where I can't remember the actor's name in the moment. Oh my god.
Edward Norton?
No, not Edward Norton, not Matt Damon, John Malkovich, where he's playing the Russian KGB guy, and in the
Yeah,
end,
yeah.
Matt Damon goes to like get his money back, and he beats him like really easily just to get like some quick cash, and John Malkovich is like, ugh, I feel so unsatisfied. So anytime you're talking about Elden Ring, that's just what pops in my head.
Well, I mean, it's the big fish that got away. Maybe it'll be our season finale. Maybe it won't. We'll see how I feel. We'll see how everything comes together. You know.
Yeah, when we get there in 2026, we'll see how that's going.
Hey, it could be whatever, man. It's all jazz. Hey, but we made it to season 2, Steve. Technically, this is episode 11, but it's his season 2, episode 1. But it's
Yes.
also episode 11 of our podcast.
Right. And we're talking about a game that I think is kind of challenging. Definitely not Elden Ring or Dark Souls territory, but, you know, gives you a good run for your money.
And that game is yet another one by Shigeru Miyamoto. This is the second one we're talking about, and that is Star Fox 64.
A little trip down nostalgia memory lane. And unlike
but amazing.
Yeah, but and unlike our previous N64 game, this one's not a steaming pile of hot garbage. This one's great.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, you know, it's look, we're not gonna go down that road, but I do have to say it is crazy how every time I think about an N64 game that captured my heart and has like defined my experiences as a gamer and has honestly created nostalgic memories that continue to make like I guess create a foundation for me to continue being a gamer. The N64 memories seem to all be connected to Shigeru Miyamoto. Like this guy was batting for like 100 in the 90s. Like, everything he was creating. I know you don't like Zelda Ocarina of Time, but people do love that game,
Most
whether
people
you
do.
like it or not.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
yes.
know most people do. I know I'm
Yeah,
in a
yeah.
minority.
Yeah, it's like, is there a director that everyone loves that I don't really like? Is there a director that everyone loves that you don't really like?
A video game director?
Just even a director. I'm trying to think of something
Uh,
controversial.
I'm sure I could think of something off the top of my head. There's no one that really comes to mind.
I got someone. Quentin Tarantino. I love most of what Quentin Tarantino does, but there's two pieces of piling of like steaming garbage I don't like in there. But that other people love, like everyone loves, and I know I'm a minority.
Is one of them the like his most recent one, the Once Upon a Time in Hollywood?
It's not my favorite.
I
No,
thought
I don't really like that one that much.
that's
But
what I'm saying. Is that one of the ones you thought was
that was Inglorious Bastards for me.
really?
Yeah, see? See, that's Zelda reaction. Now you know. That's the feeling. That's
I
the
don't
feeling.
have that strong of a feeling of you not liking that. Like if I tell most
Yeah.
people that I think Zelda is Ocarina of Time is crap, they're like, "What the?" You know, and like I have to like run away
Yes.
from fear of violence. But you tell me you don't like Inglorious Bastards, I'm like, yeah, okay. I give that
This is
one
why I
like
know. Yeah.
I give that movie like a B.
Okay. See, your feelings on Zelda are why you're not allowed to live in my village.
Really? I'm not one of the people that you want to come spit on.
You are, but just you're not in my village. Anyways, but yeah, so Star Fox 64 comes out back in 1997. Uh, Shigeru Miyamoto was the producer designer. Amazing job. This is one of those Nintendo titles that was just Nintendo came hot out the gates with their 64 titles, and it was one of those first early day ones. Yet another Koji Kondo score, because I remember you've mentioned him before. I think it was during the Zelda episode. That's the one thing you said. And this is actually one of the first games, I think is the first game that introduced the Nintendo 64 Rumble Pack.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's right.
uh, Good use of it too. With all the, I mean, you know, anytime you're taking damage, you see the ship go crazy. So that makes
Yeah.
sense.
Yeah, and there was like an innovation where I guess they didn't really have a game before that had that much action shooting like hitting you. Because I do remember playing it, I'm like, oh my god, I'm actually in there, even though
Yeah,
you're
yeah.
in this like watching this really pixelated thing. But yeah, I mean, there's not much more to say to that. Like there hasn't really, Star Fox is a unique gem, and one of the big reasons I wanted to talk about it was because its life and times kind of exist on the 64. Like the precursor game before that was because there was a Star Fox for Nintendo, I believe, if
Super
I can remember
Nintendo, yeah.
correctly. Yeah, it hit and a lot of people loved it, but the reception that the Nintendo 64 one got was way bigger. And the one that later on, there's another one made for Wii, I believe, and it just didn't hit.
I don't actually know about the other one. I do know like there was a Star Fox 2 that we didn't get until it came out on the Virtual Console on Switch. It was just never released. They made it, it was like almost done, and then for whatever reason it didn't come out. And then it was a few years ago, maybe like 2 3 years ago, where they put it out on like the Nintendo Online.
Dude, I haven't even played that yet.
Yeah, but it's
Is it
another
good?
it's a Super Nintendo one. I mean, it's more Star Fox. Like
Oh,
if you like the
yeah,
Super
yeah.
Nintendo one, you like that one.
Well, and I mean, and the gameplay is, I mean, why it was so unique for the time. This falls in that genre of, I don't even know what to call it. I guess just flight shooters. I don't really know what you'd call those,
There's
but it
a
is,
you could call it all. It's not like a bullet hell, which is sort of what a
yeah,
lot of those ones are, where you're in a ship. Generally, those are like top down, and you just have
yeah,
bullets coming at you like crazy, and you have to, evade them, do a barrel roll, whatever, and shoot. I don't think this is to that level, and that's typically more. I guess back then it was reserved more for the top down ones as opposed to this one where you're it's almost POV, but you're just sort of like right behind the ship. Although there is
yeah.
a cockpit view if you want.
Yeah. I mean, but it is part of that same genre. I think it evolves in my eyes from that bullet hell sort of genre.
Mhm.
Because even the early Star Fox game, and part of the reason I loved it so much was I always had a tough time getting those bullet hell games just because it's so your adrenaline's pumping, you're dodging everything every 3 seconds. It's hard to get into, but what Star Fox offered was like a very digestible, accessible version of that, like with a very rooted, strong story that gets played out very. I know it's not a full flush story, but there's a story that gets played out on every route you take. A little bit more and a little bit more and a little bit more.
Definitely in the 64 version, I would say less so
Yeah.
in Super Nintendo, but I like
No,
that
no.
describing it as like a gateway bullet hell.
It is a gateway bullet hell because there are some, like for example, when you're going down some of the hard tracks, because the whole thing with Star Fox, before we get in some of the intricacies, I guess, of the gameplay and stuff like that, the basic story is that you are playing Fox McCloud, who's the son of, I guess, another Fox McCloud. Is that
So this is something I wanted to talk about is the naming, but
okay?
but keep going. Your father's name is James McLeod,
James McCloud, yeah, James
and he's
McCloud.
got
Okay,
aviators, whereas Fox McLeod
yeah,
doesn't.
yeah. You're Fox McCloud, the son of this legendary fighter pilot named James McCloud that went missing in his war against Andros, and you and the other survivor from his team, Pepe, the little rabbit who you fly with, along
Peppy
with
hair,
Slippy, yeah, Pepe Hair, and then along with Slippy and Falco,
Slippy Toad,
uh,
and Falco Lombardi.
and Falco Lombardi, of course. But you guys are on this journey to defeat Andros the way James couldn't, and you and your team have to go down one of three routes that are all kind of created based on decisions you take within the level or accomplishments you make in the level based on what routes open up to you. There's an easy route, a medium route, and a hard route. But along the way, little beats of the story start to open up a little bit more. Like with, for example, like with a rivalry that comes with uh
Star Wolf.
Star Wolf and his team, which are like your rival team. Another one with Bill, this other captain that's goes you kind of experience down the middle route, and then with Cat, who's the strange, weird love interest you don't really talk about with Falco on the hard route. And these people like pop their heads in, but it's all really culminating towards this one battle with Andros at the end. And along the way, I thought they did create this very interesting, I don't know, journey of you on the Great Fox, I think it's called, right?
Yeah.
The starship, you on the starship Great Fox, and you guys are just kind of on this adventure. Your players kind of get hit, like along the way, the more damage your team gets decides whether they're going to be in the next level for you or not, or whether they have to dip out halfway through the level. And it's just interesting. It does create this, like, both on one aspect, this challenge of like how much of my team can I get to the end, and then B, like kind of like who's going to be there for what parts and like what kind of story beats are going to come up, right?
Yeah, I mean, those teammates also help you with like some of the objectives to get you along certain paths. So, on the harder difficulty path, there's a mission where there's searchlights, and if you're caught in those searchlights, it pushes you back towards I think it's the medium path. But if you
Yep.
have your teammates and you're going along taking out all those searchlights, they'll also take out some of them for you. And I think that's where she makes her first appearance, is with the searchlights.
Yes.
And if you keep her alive, she's in the next mission as well, where
Yeah.
the Great Fox is getting shot at with missiles, and she helps you take down those missiles. So
Well,
it's a really cool mechanic. I don't remember anything like that before that involved teammates. Maybe the original XCOM, but this is much more. You're not in control of them. It's much more fluid. It happens very quick. Like, I don't remember your teammates being like so fragile. You know what I mean? Like when you've got Falco or Pepe saying, "Help me out, Fox," it's like you got maybe like 10, 15 seconds before they're like, "Oh man, I got a bail," and then you lose them for that mission and the next one until their ship is repaired.
Yeah, and I agree with you. Overall, in general, like I guess my memories of childhood to now with this game are so much more like this was a little bit harder than I expected.
Yeah,
Like I really thought I was
totally.
gonna have an easy run towards it, but there was like some levels that really gave you hell along the way. And it just goes to show that maybe either A, I just had that much time on my hands as a kid gamer, or B, I just I don't know, maybe I just don't remember the pain. Maybe I threw my controller more often than I remember.
Well,
Like I don't know.
so I never had an N64 growing up. All my memories of this game were from playing it at a friend's house.
Yeah.
Um, like the Aquas level with the submarine, I don't remember ever seeing that. When I got to
Yeah.
that, when I was on that hard path and I got to Aquas and I was in a submarine, I was like, "Oh my god, what is this?" Like, I've never seen
Yeah, I
this
know.
before. Like, that was so cool. I'd seen the tank, which was one really interesting level, and then I'd never like purposely gone the full easy route, so I'd never seen. There's two different bosses, right? Talking about the branching path. There's the real Andros, and then there's the fake Andros. If
Yeah.
you go the full easy route, you beat Andros, who's just like a giant monkey head with two big hands, and then there's a robot face, and you beat that, and then the end credits roll, and then you see Andros at the end of the credits going, "Ah," doing his evil laugh.
Yeah.
And then if you do the medium or the hard route, you get the true boss, which is, again, you shoot the monkey head, and then it's just a brain with eyeballs that you have to take out in a closed arena, but then he's gone for good.
Yeah, I mean, I guess as a kid too, I didn't do the hard path as many times. So like there was levels I didn't remember too. Like you said, like Aquas I had never seen. And had you seen Zones before that? The one that with the search lights?
I don't think so, and I don't remember
No, me
I
neither.
don't remember seeing Solar before I played it this time,
Yeah.
and I think
Yeah.
Solar might be my favorite level.
That's crazy. Well, we'll talk more about that when we get into it. But
Yeah.
like, I don't know. There's enough in this game. It's one of those simple stories that gives you enough to kind of keep you in the loop, especially like when you replay it over and over again and you do bring different characters to different worlds. There's different dialogue choices they make, there's different ways they behave. Like for example, like whether you have Slippy or not, when you go to the testing facility, the testing grounds,
Hmm.
like I remember I was going into that level and I didn't have Slippy with me at all. And then suddenly he just popped up for the boss fight because he has to go down. You know what I mean? He has to go down and crash on Titania, I think it is. Yeah,
Yeah, where
Titania.
you have to rescue him from like the. I don't even know what you
Yeah,
describe that monster as.
I don't know. I don't know either. The plants vine crazy thing, but
Something.
like, but yeah, he has to show up at Sector X because he's the one who goes down on Titania, and you have to find him.
Hmm.
And there's no way you can avoid that, right? Like, and another one is like, for example, if Falco isn't in zones, I don't think Cat shows up.
I don't know because I had Falco and I didn't go
Yeah,
through enough runs, but I would imagine. Well, I don't know. I can't even speculate.
yeah, and then also with I don't remember what it is. I think it's Katina, yeah, Katina, the one where you have to defend the main base where that UFO rolls over top.
Hmm.
Like that one as well, Peppy has a relationship with Bill. So if you don't have Peppy going into that, there's like lines that don't get said between Peppy and Bill because they're like, oh, the war buddies. I used to fly with James McLeod. You know what I mean? So they
Yeah,
like knew your dad and shit like
and
that.
same with Peppy and Pigma. If Peppy's not around, then Pigma
Oh my
doesn't
god.
do the line. I'll do you slow, Peppy, old pal.
Yeah, yeah.
Because one of the things you left out about, James McLeod's disappearance is it was James, Peppy, and Pigma that got sent to investigate Andros, and then Pigma betrays them.
Damn. Damn. Did you piece that together or did you investigate it? Or just kind of like
It's in the intro.
oh, you're right. Damn, I just kind of forgot the
Yeah.
intro that much.
Do you
Yeah,
remember
I
Pigma's
forgot
second
Pigma's name.
name? Or Pigma's last name?
No, no.
Pigma Dengar, which is an assassin from, or a bounty hunter from Star Wars.
Are you serious? That's crazy.
Yeah.
So I mean, like, so why don't you fill in any gaps? I said because in the intro one they do talk about how, yeah, Pigma. I guess I never pieced together that because one of your main antagonist is Andros
Hmm.
and his whole armies. He's like this evil force that throws ships at you and different threats. Like he's the one creating all the villains you're fighting, but he has like a main crew of guys that become your main rivals that you have to fight anywhere from 2 to 3 times, I guess. I guess you can only fight them 2 times, but in different ways. We'll get into that.
Yeah.
Our living hell on
Oh
Venom.
my god.
But I know, but you fight this other team that's run by Starwolf, and Starwolf has Pigma, who's this betrayer, and I don't remember the other two guys' names. Sometimes me remember though.
I do. Yeah. So the other two are, and I find this one hilarious. There's Andrew, who looks like Andros, like he looks kind of like a monkey. So to me that just sounds like his reject nephew. Like you got
Okay.
Andros and Andrew, and then there's Leon, who's a lizard. And I only realized this yesterday because I was so stuck on the names of all the characters. I was like, Leon, like what the it's Chameleon, Leon. That's where Leon comes from.
I wouldn't have got that at all.
Oh
I
really?
literally wouldn't have got that at all. Yeah, I would have been like Leon the Lizard. I was like, is that just supposed to be an alliteration they wanted to throw in there?
Well, I just got so stuck on the names because it's so funny to me. So like, okay, Peppy
Yeah,
Hair,
I could tell.
Peppy Hair. All right, rabbit makes sense. Slippy
Yep.
Toad. Okay, Falco Lombardi. I don't know where Lombardi
Yeah, I
comes
don't
from,
get
but
that.
Falco the Falcon. And then you have Fox McCloud, who's a fox. And then to me, it's just so funny that Fox's dad's name is James.
James. I know, me
James
too. I thought I
McCloud.
said the same thing.
Yeah. And then, there's
And
Pigma Dengar. He's a pig. Starwolf is a wolf. Chameleon is a lizard. Or Leon is a chameleon. And then Andrew. Another one.
yeah, I know. That's like supposed to be like, I don't know. Andros is like kind of like slow nephew. They just threw into the Star Wolf fucking
Yeah.
like
But
the game.
every time I fought them, and I did a few runs, so I think I fought them, 5 or 6 times. Every single time, it would always be Andrew last. I don't know. It wasn't on
Are you
purpose.
serious?
Yeah, I don't know. It wasn't on purpose. It just kept happening that way, and he would always be like, "You're not welcome here," and I was just like, "Shut up, Andrew."
For me, it was honestly, I think a lot of the time I had Pigma last
Yes,
because
you get
he was always saying shit.
yeah.
He was always saying shit. I mean, yeah, like what I just remember. I guess let's talk a little bit about our general impressions then versus now. Like, because I mean, as a kid, I remember turning this game on and it was revolutionary, right? Because for me, 64 in general had stepped up the game alongside PlayStation, right? They offered like PlayStation was chasing closer and closer to that cinematic experience versus I don't know, 64 just kind of leaned into its Nintendoism and kind of stuck to it. It still has.
Oh yeah.
It's not a console that chases realism by any means. They don't want to create they create like a Nintendo cinematic experience, but they're not chasing realism like Sony is. You know what I mean?
Yeah, there's not, to my knowledge, like a Last of Us type thing
No.
on a Nintendo. But you know, pre N64, you had all the JRPGs, and to a certain degree, you still have that, and those are pretty serious, like Final Fantasy VI. But from maybe even like I'd say the N64 was a good starting point for it, of that Nintendoism becoming their
Yeah.
identity. Then you had
Yeah.
the GameCube, a little bit more, and then what was it, the Wii after that? Like that's where I think they went full Nintendo,
Nintendo.
whatever that means to
Yeah.
you.
I feel like GameCube was an experiment for them to be like, you remember Dreamcast? I feel like we lost something with Dreamcast, and they tried to pull like a Dreamcast meets Nintendo kind of thing. But I don't know. But I just remember playing Star Fox and like it was one of those games. But all Nintendo games were like this for me, where the characters were simple enough that I could feel like I was kind of part of the team very fast. Like it really hurt me when I would lose certain players, like along the way. Like I thought Falco was the coolest motherfucker ever. You know what I mean? Like I thought Falco was so badass, and like the fact that they even introduced him into Super Smash Brothers later on too. I'm like, clearly other people also found Falco badass, but he was the squishiest, I'd say.
It's funny because I had the total opposite reaction to Falco originally, where I just thought he was a dick. It's like, anytime Falco asks for help and then you shoot the guys chasing him, he's like, "Oh, I guess I should be thankful. I've been saved by the
Yeah,
great Star Fox." Like, ew. It's like, you were just asking for my help, and now you're being a dick about it.
yeah,
Like, fuck you, Falco. I hope they shoot you
yeah.
down next time, son of a bitch.
so, so I mean, like, so now coming back to it, there was that nostalgia as well. But I guess I went into it thinking I was just gonna get, I don't know, I was thinking I was gonna enjoy it the same way I enjoyed Zelda, but this one hit way more for me. Like I knew what I was getting into with Zelda. This kind of blew me away replaying this game, how much I loved it. Like I didn't realize how quintessential of like a foundational pillar this is for my like upbringing. Like this was badass. Like a lot of the feelings I chase in games were like there's like a certain visceral, fast-paced element to this game that's just like it's just go go go. Like shit is coming at you all the fucking time in this game. Like it's awesome.
Yeah, it's nonstop, and yeah, I having never had the full experience, but still really liking, what I did play when I was a kid. I was, I was really looking forward to doing this, and then I hit that point where,
Yeah, I
like,
know.
oh man,
We'll talk about it. We'll talk
yeah.
about it in a second.
So, but once, like, I got past this thing we're alluding to, it was great, man. It gave me a lot of the same vibes as like the Descent games and the Free Space games that I played when I was growing up, which is more of what I had access to because I was playing on computer and I didn't have an N64 when these games were out. But it was a lot of fun, especially like once I was able to remap, the weird N64 controller into a way that was comfortable on a modern controller, and you're doing like the bank turns and the barrel rolls and the like. Once the controls became much more natural, it felt way better, and still feels really good and fun to play.
Yeah, man. I mean, well, because especially when you get to those, 'cause there's a lot of levels that are just open battlegrounds where you have to you hit an edge and you get turned around. Like those are you have to have the controls mapped out smooth to truly hit those at like a good at a good pace because like otherwise they can overwhelm you very easily. If you can't do the banks, you can't do the barrel rolls.
Oh yeah,
Like your experience and my
oh
experience
yeah.
on Venom, like yeah, I know,
Like
I know, I
there was
know.
a very clear, like, this is how I was playing in the beginning, versus this is how I was playing like 8 hours later. There was a very clear progression in skill. Like,
Yeah.
and to its credit, like especially on the easy path, like you can just pick up this game and play and have a great time. You don't really have to do any of these crazy maneuvers. You'll probably, you might have a rough go of it if you're not a gamer per se or whatever.
Yeah.
But it doesn't take like hours and hours and hours, like say an Elden Ring, to start getting better. And then you can
No.
go to the middle path, and then you can go to the hard path. Like, you mentioned to me that Aquarius or Aquas was like a really hard level for you, whereas for me, by the time I got to Aquas, like that, I did that in my first try, and it felt like a super easy level in comparison.
I did it in my first try. It was just because like, well, because there's three kinds of vehicles in this game, right? There's the R wing, which is the majority of the time you're flying in this spaceship, which is designed to. Then there's two levels where you get a tank, and one where you get a submarine. And the fluidity of the tank was so, or of the submarine was so slow, right? Like the style I had been getting through at that time required a lot of fast movements. So I just found myself barrel rolling a lot on Aquas just to avoid the constant fire, because like I wasn't as fast with getting my shots off to like the sea floor or what was popping up in front of me. So I found myself barrel rolling and kind of leaning into shots a lot more. And so by the time I got to the final boss, I was just kind of barrel rolling my way through it just because I was just kind of like setting that pattern. That's what it was more so than anything else. I got through it on my first try
Yeah.
too. It's just
So,
yeah.
so for me with Aquas, it gives you infinite missiles, and I noticed,
Yeah.
unlike the R wing or the tank, as long as you're kind of get your aim reticle in a general vicinity, it'll lock onto something, and that works for your lasers and for the torpedo. So I
Yeah.
found it like pretty easy to just like, okay, I'm just gonna launch torpedoes and I'll just keep shooting. Like I don't have to be as good with my aim as I do with the R wing or the tank, and like versus the R wing where I felt really comfortable by the end. Every tank level, I was barely making it through. I struggle with the tank still.
Crazy.
Yeah, I really struggle with it. It's those levels feel so fast, and the control of the tank feels really really fast too. And I'm just a old man with slow reflexes these days, so I still struggle with the tank levels.
Dude, that's crazy because for me, complete opposite. The tank was so easy. It almost moved too slow for me because I got so good at it. Especially like the first one I played was Titania,
Mm.
which is the one where Slippy crashes. That one was definitely a little overwhelming because there's like things on cliffs throwing boulders at you and stuff like that.
Yeah,
But then Macbeth, the train chase levels, which is one of my favorite levels,
great level.
was like, but that one was like, I had an easy time with it because I had mastered the like hovering up thing and I was rolling all over the place. So I was like burning through the train like nothing. Like I hit all the switches to get the alt ending, no problem. Like no problems at all.
Oh, dude, like my Macbeth run trying to get all the switches for the alt ending, it was just like doing barrel rolls by accident, crashing into buildings, like maybe hitting the switch by accident and barrel rolling to
Yeah.
the other side, crashing into another building. Yeah, my Macbeth was just pure chaos for me.
Did you hit all the switches?
I did, yeah. Thank goodness, because if I had to
Yeah.
fight a boss with no health left, like I would have had to restart the level.
Yeah. Well, I mean, but the thing is, I guess the mechanics that I like about this game is I like the ring system.
Mhm.
Like, this idea is that you can collect a couple things along the way, right? You can collect once in a while you'll find extra health, which is like another one of your R wings, just kind of like a little R wing you can pick up, which is a +1 health. But most of the time it's silver rings, golden rings, or weapons enhancements, right? The silver wings, they'll regenerate a little bit of your health, and the gold ones, if you collect three of them, they'll increase your health for the
Mhm.
entire level. I think it increases your health only for the level. I don't think it continues on to the next one.
Correct, yeah. Yeah, each level
Yeah,
resets.
yeah, and like that was a nice little thing to chase from level to level, because like even some of the bosses were like, and you could collect bombs, but some of the bosses were like even the boss on Zones, the one that's like the ship that's shooting stuff at you, like all like you have to use bombs to destroy that one. So it's like it's dropping health and bombs for you every time you're shooting down its cannonballs. And like it's essential for some of them, right? Because you're like, I'm gonna die anyways. So even with that train level, well, from what I remember, because I remember that one very vividly, he's like attached to the train. You're kind of like trying to shoot him up there. He drops things or things come at you off the train and you can blow them up and you get more rings along the way, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
it's never like they never leave you high and dry.
Generally, like if you're doing really badly at a level, and you're not getting any rings or laser upgrades or bombs, there'll be a radio indicator to hit the right C button, and from Great Fox you'll get a message. It's like, location confirmed, sending supplies, and it might be a bomb if you're low on health. They'll send you some health. They give you a good chance. But
Yeah.
generally, like, yeah, stuff from the environment that's getting thrown at you, or stuff that bosses are throwing at you. If you blow those up, you'll get like silver rings or bombs. If you take out like full enemy groups, sometimes you'll get a gold ring or a laser upgrade. So like the better you do, the more stuff you get as well.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. So like, I mean, one thing I did like about this game is that they started you off on Corneria. And Corneria for me was like, I remember like I was so excited when I finished this game that I just gave them all like a ranking. Like it was like a 7.5 out of 10 for me because I think it's a great introduction level. It gives you all the mechanics. It gives you like a cool little thing you have to do to get unlock a secret path.
Mm-hmm.
And like, and that was my, and I just love that one. I love both bosses you can fight on him, right? Because like the secret gimmick is you have to save Falco when he's getting pursued,
Yep.
and then fly through 7 arches
Yeah.
to get the ult one. And I loved both bosses. What was your impression of Corneria?
I mean, again, the general calls you. It's Vandross is attacking the Lilat system. We need your help, and you fly in, and you see the devastation. It still looks cartoony because that's the style, and it's also N64. But it was great. Like, there's a lot of stuff going on. You don't have like really intense enemies coming at you, but the first time I flew it, like I was just like crashing into everything, and I was like missing everybody. The first time doing it was very different from the fourth. I prefer the boss from the secret objective ending, because that's one where it's always moving backwards and you're always moving forwards. The normal boss is one of those arena ones, which I think is harder to do, especially the first time you're playing the game, because you got to be able to do the bank turns pretty comfortably or do the U-turns. He goes down pretty easy, like he's not a hard boss, but having that mechanic in play right from the first level, I thought was pretty challenging.
But I think that's why they force you to do an open area one first, because it's kind of like a skill check, right? It's kind of like a one saying like, well, these are the things you're gonna have to know. So let's just teach them to you on this one, because you have Peppy yelling the commands at you the whole time every time you're screwing them up. He's like, don't forget to hit down on C and to the left on the joystick.
Do a barrel roll.
Yeah.
The iconic line.
And it's always Peppy. Yeah, do a barrel roll.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's Peppy. It's always Peppy, just kind of guiding you.
And then they're always giving you compliments like, "Oh, you're just like your father, Fox." Like,
Yeah, bro. I get it, man. I get it. But where are the shades? I don't got the shades. No, but
he didn't earn the shades yet, I guess.
he didn't earn the shades. Yeah, I mean, hey. But maybe a better way to do this is like, what was your favorite level?
Probably, it's either solar or like the shipyard. Do you know what I'm talking about? I forget the name now. Where it seems
Sector
like
Y?
maybe I'm forgetting the name, but you fly in and it's like, oh, they're attacking our ships. You gotta rescue them, and you go in and there's like nothing there at first, and then all of a sudden all these enemies start appearing as you're flying through the shipyards.
That's not the one with the mechs, is it? Like the Gundam mechs?
No, because the Gundam mechs are on the hard path.
Hmm.
And I had that same
shipyard-
thought. I had that same thought about those.
I think you're talking about Area 6, the one where Cat joins you and
No.
the missiles get shot at you.
No.
Which one's the shipyard then? Oh, the one with the test experiment at the end?
That's the defense area 6, which is probably the hardest level for me. It's on the easy path.
Interesting. Yeah, you're talking about the one before Titania where Slippy goes down, Sector X.
Could be.
Because that's the one where Slippy goes down. That's where it's like empty. And you show up at that base and it's like been ripped apart. And it's like too desolate.
Yeah. Okay. Yes. And
Yeah,
then
yeah.
the last boss is a robot that's like, I must destroy
Yes.
everything, and again, it's got the two
Yeah.
big hands. Yeah. That I like that level. I just thought for an N64 game to have that much atmosphere was pretty sweet.
Crazy. See, for me, that was like one of my least favorite levels because that level has a lot of And it's a lot more dodging than it is fighting things
Hmm.
because it's a lot of navigating this broken destroyed base, right? You're going in and out. And I find it's more of a skill check of your flying abilities than it is like a combat one.
Yeah, I'm okay with that. I like the flying in this game,
Yeah.
especially like in the later levels. I feel like you have that too with zones where you're trying to get the lights and you have to
Yeah.
tilt the ship or move really quickly. I mean, I like zones a lot. Macbeth was really good. Solar, I'd never seen it, and I thought that was you could call it a gimmick level because everything is lava and there's the like rising
The whole thing is just
waves.
survival.
Yeah, and then you have I thought the boss at the end was cool. It's very different from anything else you fought. So yeah, I liked Solar a lot.
Yeah, and Solar for me also was like an 8 out of 10 because like Solar was interesting, but it's interesting that you like the two levels that are the most like skill check gimmicky, I guess, for lack of a better word, because both of them are the ones where you're just like one, you're just navigating and doing like a skill check for your flying, and the other one's like survive. It's more about can you shoot enough birds to get enough silver rings? Because if you with solar, the challenge is you have to shoot down the birds to get silver wings, or silver rings because or you'll die. You cannot just fly through that level.
Yeah,
You won't make it.
yeah.
So that one is more of a skill check of like keeping up with your health bar the whole time. And that boss was amazing. That was one of my favorite bosses. I do agree.
The I'll ask you which one were your favorite levels were, but my second least favorite level is probably the defense area. I think it's 6, like right before you go to Venom.
On the hard path, right?
Yeah, because it's
Yeah.
that mission is just freaking chaos. You're just
Yeah.
flying through space. There's not too much going on other than just like ship, 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 ship. And then that boss was such a pain. That boss is such a
Yeah.
pain.
That's area 6.
Yeah, that's the experiment or whatever.
Yeah. Fuck.
That one was f that boss.
So what was your least favorite?
Well, go through your favorites first.
Oh yeah, because you. Okay. Well, my favorite for sure, without question, was actually. Let me get the name of it. With Sector Y. The first one on the alt path. So when you shoot, you save Falco and you fly through the rings,
Yeah,
and you go down that alt objective. When you go to that next level, the one with the Gundams, the
yeah,
one with
yeah,
the
yeah, yeah,
mechs,
yeah, yeah. I know what
that
you
one was my favorite because it was just such it's a huge homage to Gundam,
big time.
like huge, big time. But it's also just like so fluid, like it's kind of cool. It's like you're flying past all these like you're kind of like storming like a ship blockade, or it's like you're in the middle of like an actual combat zone, and
Hmm.
you're just like you guys are spearheading ahead to make sure no more of your ships go down, and you just get through it all, and you have this like open area Gundam fight at the end, which I thought was so cool because like there's phases to it. That was like one of the first ones where there was like phases to the fight where it's like you fight him in open air and it's really hard. You fight at the boss. It's like you fight two Gundams,
Yep.
two mechs, and then a main mech. And that main mech first like zips around like crazy in open space and is kind of hard to kill, and then lands because he gets cocky and tries to shoot you and stuff like that. And like that was a really like that one challenged me, and I even loved the bonus objective because in order to get to Aquas, you have to get over 100 kills on that one, and it's actually hard to do to get 100 kills.
I didn't realize that was the bonus objective. I so like
Yeah,
I just played that level and I had the same thoughts that you did, and especially when like the second phase of the boss hits and he gets launched off the ship, like
yeah,
on the sort of like the fighter jet platform. I was like, oh my god, this is the most Gundam thing I've ever seen. Like this is awesome.
yeah.
And it even has the same look with the shield and the laser rifle. So I was like, this is sweet. And then I was just like, kind of did this that I was gonna keep me on the left path, and it did, but I didn't know why. So that's interesting to know.
Well, I mean, I guess you were just that good. You just got it whether you liked it or not. It was just one of those things if you just did a good job. For me, it's I was hunting it because I knew it was 100 kills because that was one of the ones Simon told me, which was like you have to get 100 kills to do this. Um, and beyond that, my other favorite one, which would be a good transition to I think what your least favorite one is. Um, my other favorite one was the second Star Wolf fight, but on the easy run, the the Bolts defense station or whatever, the defense station,
Yeah, yeah,
because that one was an epic buildup. Because it's like if you're on the easy run, you first fight them on. I think it's Fakina. There's a lot of Fakina, Katina, like a lot of that. Facina. But anyways, you fight it on Facina. You fight Starwolf and his crew there the first time. If all of them survive, um, you'll get to the Bolts defense station, and they'll all still be there. But whatever ones you kill, the survivors go and fight you on the Bolse defense station. But if you kill all of them on Fakina, you are forced onto the middle path, which is what happened to you, I think.
Uh, I don't think that's how that works because I beat. So the first time you fight them, they're trying to stop you from defusing a bomb and like you
Yes.
know,
Yes.
and I lucked out and I got them all. I got the last guy literally as it was saying like the timer for the bomb is 0 and it was about to detonate, and then as it's detonating, because I got the last guy, Star Fox was like, "Oh, I'll go take care of this," and diffused it as it was blowing up. Which go figure. And I got to the middle path. But anyway, eventually sticking to the middle path, I got to the base that you're talking about, and they're all there with new ships.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Yeah, that's what I figured would happen. Because for me though, uh, Akina, I didn't kill all of them. I just killed two of them. So when I got to the defense station, like it's just this epic fight where it's 2v4. I think I only had two guys left as well. And so it was like an epic like 2 versus 2 dogfight. And then everyone's going in between. You have to blow up the core. But I love that like rematch version, like that idea of on the defense base. It's like you have to take down. It feels very Star Wars to me, where you have to take down the shields, then the generator core is exposed, and then Star Wars flies in, and you get this rematch, this like revenge match. And they're either stronger, you did a good job, or B, they show up just 2v2 or whatever it is.
I think you're mixing up the bases, man. The one
I
that you're
mean,
talking about with the shields, and then you have to shoot the thing in the middle. Star Wolf doesn't show up on that one.
I'm not talking. I'm talking about the one where it's all on a giant cube and like a core gets exposed, like a rod shows up,
Yeah,
and that's that. I had Star Wolf show up on that one.
I didn't know that was possible.
Yeah, so that's why you're getting them with the upgraded ships at the end.
Hmm.
Because if you do shoot them down, they do come with upgraded ships at the end. But
Okay.
for me, if you don't kill them all, you get to that cube level, and they're what's it called? They're there. They
Oh.
just show up. All the survivors show up, and they get involved in that fight.
Oh, that was very Death Star, by the way. I forgot about that level until you mentioned it
Yeah,
now.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah, you're
yeah.
taking out
That's
the
one of my
shield.
favorite ones.
That was
Yeah.
cool. So the second Star Wolf fight that I have, which is they're like guarding the entrance to Andros's
Yes, yes, yes.
lair or whatever you want to call it.
Venom. Yeah.
Yeah, I got there with only Peppy, like basically half dead. On This was like my first run after having not
The
played
hard
this game.
mode.
The middle path. It was middle. I didn't get
Yeah,
hard
yeah,
all the way. It was like right and then middle kind of thing.
yeah, yeah.
Uh, but after having not played this game for like 20 years and being pretty terrible at it, and I just got like stuck in a loop. Like I could not do anything. Like I got so frustrated. It was just you get in there, all four of these ships are swarming me, and it was like I'd just be dead in like freaking 30 seconds. Like I was losing my mind. And I had my rage moment. I will fully admit, and I was like, Mike, we're not doing this. Like this game is
Yeah, we almost
terrible.
didn't do this
But
episode.
yeah,
Yeah, I
we almost
know.
didn't do this episode because of that Venom fight. And then I calmed down the next day. I apologized. You gave me a strategy, and it worked. And then now it's not so bad. Now I can do that pretty reliably. But
No, but I only knew that strategy because I had the same problem.
that fight was F word. Shish. It was shish.
No, I know, but I had the same problem because I came out of the defense. So there's the defense base and the defense zone.
Mhm.
Defense zone is the one with that stupid spinning sector 6, the spinning fucking enemy. So that one I lost everyone. I lost Slippy and I lost Falco and I only had Peppy. So then I also went into the second Star Wolf fight um, with only fucking Peppy, and I got slapped. I got slapped around, and I was like, I was almost gave up too. I was like, I guess all I did was the easy run. Like, I guess that's me.
Right.
I guess that's my life. And then but then I just figured it out, and I just started circling slow and slow on that Venom fight and destroyed them. But then when you got a chance to see the easy route Venom fight, right? Like, because there's a different level you have to fight if you do Venom on the easy path.
Yeah.
The tunnel with the running guy.
Yes.
Okay.
Which, so this is something I was gonna mention, but before we get to that, like, even after learning from you or you suggesting like, hey, try this for the Venom fight, like it took a while to master the slow bank turns so that you could get an angle on them and then be turning and maneuvering better than they could. That was like the level up for me, which then made everything else much more manageable
Yeah.
or easier going forward, and served me so well in hard mode, was mastering that technique from the Venom fight. And then it was like, okay, this game is back to being super fun again. The the easy path versus like hard path or the medium path. That boss you were talking about on the like the temple run level with that giant robot like covered in rock boss, I found that harder than some of the hard mode bosses.
Because of how much dodging you have to do.
Well, especially in the last like quarter of his health, where it's just pillars coming every which way at you, and
Yeah.
you're in this narrow corridor. Like I went into that fight, I think almost max health with the double blue laser, and then like I'm doing okay, like I'm dodging everything, and then he gets to that panic phase of his health where he's just launching everything in the kitchen sink at you. There's a freaking laundry machine coming at you for some,
Yeah. Yeah.
and I then all of a sudden like I have a busted wing. My ship is like sinking because it doesn't have enough
Yeah.
lift to stay up. I lost my blue laser, and then I have to go fight Andros, and I was like, like, that thing clobbered me more than some of the hard bosses.
But at least with the easy run, when you're going into the Andros level, they take you down that long tunnel where they just rebuild you anyways, though. You know what I mean? Like they'll give you back everything you lost.
Not fully. Like you get one laser upgrade,
Yeah.
you get a golden ring, and I think one or two bombs. I don't really use bombs against Andros anyway, but yeah, they're not just being
Yeah.
like, well, you got screwed on the last boss, so here you go.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
yeah, they're nice about it.
Well, versus the hard mode Andros. Well, after you go limping from that fucking Venom fight, from fighting the upgraded Starwolf, going into the Andros fight with no health, one of the paths down the maze of fucking tunnels they send
Mm-hmm.
you down has some assistances. But
Yep.
if you take the wrong path, you're just screwed.
Yeah, you can literally get nothing on that one,
Oh my
which is what
God.
I did the first time. I think I went right or whatever because it's always it's like three choices of left or right. It branches, it forks out three times. And I remember the first time I was like, I just kept going right, and it was like nothing, nothing, nothing. And then I go to the Angelos fight. I was like, oh great.
Uh,
And then I kept, then I tried like left, 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 and all I got was bombs. And I was like, can I just get like the thing that I need
I
here,
know.
But and then you get to Andros, and I didn't find that one too crazy. The first time, not knowing what it is, having not played it for so long, and having not seen his pattern, like he blew me up pretty quickly. But then I was like, okay, he's gonna do the fist with the hand from the right, and
Yeah.
then the other one's gonna shoot lightning bolts. As long as you dodge it, you're fine. And then if you don't stun him enough, he'll just do like a big breath in, which you have to hold the brake for so that you don't get sucked in and chewed by him.
yeah, 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 yeah.
But he's not too bad in that first phase.
I mean, for me, it was the like I remembered how to beat him in the first phase on all runs. For me, it was the second phase because when I was a kid, it was hard to get to hard mode Andros because like some of those so I didn't always get to the brain, so I didn't really remember how to play it. I just remember getting to him and he would kick my ass every time because I didn't realize he had to shoot the cerebellum nodes, that the two nodes that get separated, the ones that are just like
Those are his eyeballs.
uh yeah, his eyeballs, yeah. I didn't realize you had to destroy the eyeballs for him to get to his teleporting phase. Because once he's in his teleporting phase, it's a little easier. But those eyeballs attack you the whole time, right?
Yeah, they chase you down pretty fast. And that's where if you're
Yeah.
not good at either the U-turn or the banking turns, like
Yeah.
they'll get you. The thing that I figured out, which is kind of risky, like I don't know, my third or fourth time on him, is if you let them get close and then you do like a dive break. So like you slow down all as much as you can and dive, they'll fly over you, but they'll turn right away. So if you can chase them in the bank turn, you can take them both out pretty quickly.
That's risky as hell, man. I was not that risky.
That-
Jesus.
But when it works, it's
Dude, I just kept doing my slow turn technique I told you about the Star Wolf fight, where I would slow down and just bank either hard left or hard right at very slow speeds until I got around things. That was just my whole strategy for those boss fights. Because I was low health, man. I went down every tunnel in every way, and I could not find health. So no matter what happened, I had like this much going into that Andros fight every time. And it was not, man, it was hard.
I use the
It was
slow
hard.
banking once the eyes are gone, but I find if you don't get rid of the eyeballs quickly and then they split, as opposed to both just chasing you, if you get them split and then they're coming at you from different directions, like just forget about it. Just
Yeah, good
restart.
luck.
Just
Good
restart.
luck.
Yeah.
Okay, if these were all pains for you, what was your least favorite level?
The Venom fight.
The Venom fight?
100%
What
the Venom
about
fight.
from not Venom fight? What was your least favorite level?
Probably Sector 6. Right before you're getting
Yeah.
to Venom. And like I said, it's just, there's not, other than ships, there's not really anything there to look at. Like, I don't find
No,
it.
you're just getting spit at.
Yeah, and then you have my least favorite boss in that game, which is that weird UFO thing that then
Yeah.
like opens and you have to shoot, as Peppy says, shoot the energy balls.
Yeah,
And
yeah, yeah.
the first phase, it's not so bad because they sort of just stay in like the same section and move pretty slowly. But when they start doing damage to it, they start moving really fast and they don't stay in their same grid. Like they'll start rotating all the way and then go back the other
Yeah.
way. And that boss, like it's not like the most of the other ones. Their weak points are exposed for like a pretty long time, or they come back quickly if they do go away.
Hmm.
Um, this guy, it's like, okay, you have to shoot the energy balls so that you can do a little bit of damage to him, and then it closes. Then you have to shoot the tentacles so that it'll open again. But before it opens again, it'll either launch like 30 missiles at you or launch
Yeah.
a wave of ships at you, or sometimes it'll launch the missiles, disappear. You'll deal with the missiles, comes back, launches more missiles or more ships. Like it's a the RNG, the random number generator,
Yeah, yeah,
RNGs
yeah,
as they
yeah.
call it. Like after you've destroyed the tentacles, it's how many times is he gonna launch stuff at me before he then opens?
Yeah.
And it's like sometimes it's one wave of that, and it's nice. Sometimes it's two, sometimes it's three, and you're just like, oh my god, like it takes so long to get back to his damage phase. Whereas a lot of other bosses, like the one on, oh no, it's another water level, but it's not Aquas. Do you know which one I'm talking about?
Zones.
Oh, it is Zones, yeah, Zones where you
Yeah.
fight the pirate. Like
Yeah,
that
yeah,
that
yeah.
guy's great. Like, you have to blow up his exhaust pipes first, and
Yeah.
then you have to keep using the bombs to blow off the side pods. And when you do, like he'll rotate, and then you have another option for damage for the crane. But if you don't do that, he like goes underwater for 30 seconds, and he's launching that big chain ball at you,
Yeah.
which is easy to dodge, and at the same time you're getting health back. Like there's always something going on that feels like you're making forward progress, whereas that boss from Sector 6 or Defense Area 6 doesn't have that. And I
Yeah.
just find him to be a pain, and it slows the game down.
I mean, I don't disagree. I don't, because Sector 6 was even beyond the boss. Sector 6 is just a slog. It's just, you're just nonstop. Things are just spewing at you. They're just spewing, spewing, spewing. And you're
Yeah.
just like, my God, like, what's the point of this? I'm just barrel rolling and dodging things more than I'm shooting. Like, I am shooting the whole time, but it's like you can't be dodging because you're literally going through a defense grid of just nonstop fire. Your guys are going down left and right. And you and
Yeah.
me both had the same problem because we both had only Peppy going into the Star Wolf fight, so clearly we both got just slapped around going into that.
Yeah, I mean that's more the bullet hell level than I think probably any of
Yeah,
the other ones. And like you were talking about getting a hand cramp from doing barrel rolls on Aquas. Like Defense Area 6 is just like barrel roll, barrel roll, barrel roll. Like, there's so much stuff coming at you. You know, could you argue that's because we didn't get good? Like, yeah, maybe. If you time your barrel rolls perfectly, they'll block the bullets and it'll go towards enemies. It'll make your life a bit easier. But like, I'm just trying to survive, man. I'm just trying to survive.
no, same. But see, for me, that one and Aquas were my least two favorites because Aquas I felt the same way, man. I was just like, I don't know, the nonstop it felt a little like a bullet hell level too, because it's like I didn't know if a shell was gonna open up, if some fucking electric eel was gonna fly by, or like swim past me. Everything's just pooping at you and shooting at you. And you're just trying to shoot enough missiles to hit everything in front of you. And I'm just rolling the whole time. So by the time I got to the boss, I'm like I'm just barrel rolling, barrel rolling, barrel rolling, moving, barrel rolling, shooting, 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 and
Yeah.
all my hands are going, and I cramped up.
And what I did think,
Cramped up.
cramped up, cramped up, man. And what I did think
God,
was an odd choice in Aquas. I think it's like the first quarter of the level, or maybe like the first half. There's a school of fish that surrounds your submarine, and there's quite a few of them, and I'm like, this already is like, if you look at Star Fox wrong, you'll get some slowdown and frame dips. Like, you didn't need to have all of these fish there, adding to the visual clutter and making it chug and work even harder. I thought that was a funny choice by them.
But that's again one of those levels where I'm just like, this one is, I get why they were inspired to do it, but it felt so odd, so out of place. It's just dark, sludgy. You don't really see much in there. Maybe that's why, you know what? But maybe that School of Fish was where they use their whole like frame rate ratio, because then it gets all dark for the rest of the level and you're in sludge water and you don't see anything.
But you can use the torpedoes to light the way.
You can, but it doesn't reveal as much as it would if it was a whole illuminated level, right?
Well, sure. But I mean, that's just how being underwater works. But
I know, I know.
I think you have to give them credit for the fact that the torpedoes could illuminate like their path, and then when they explode, made that part light up as well. I think that was a pretty impressive technical achievement for back then.
Well, overall, every level, like what I love about this game is every level does have some sort of like distinct diversity in regards to level design. Like there is very few levels, even the ones that are like, because I guess the only three levels we didn't talk about was Asteroid Field, right, which is the second level, which is kind of lackluster, but I get why it's there. Like as a kid, I remember that very distinctly because you have to navigate the asteroid fields. There's Katina, which is like you're in with all, which was pretty cool because it's all these R wings together, all back like these kind of like other ships that aren't R wings, but like are part of your team. And you guys are in a giant dogfight where they're even telling you like it's easier to shoot down your own ships. Like be careful like what you're actually shooting at. That guy thought that was cool.
Yeah.
And then a UFO shows up and you have to take it down in time. And the other one we didn't talk about was I think it's Sector Z, the one with the missiles and the Great Fox is getting surrounded.
Yeah. So that's where that's one of the ones where you can get it or you can not. Like if you I keep forgetting the name of the level. What precedes Zones? How is that so hard to remember? On Zones, if you don't keep Cat alive, and if you don't shoot all of the searchlights, you don't get the missile level. You go back to the middle. And that I think was the hardest one to get to.
Yeah, because it is hard getting all the searchlights. Zones is not like there's like gates you have to be shooting, like the wheels to lift up.
Yeah.
You have to be like there's like shit going on when you're trying for it. Like there's sometimes you're hairy and outnumbered, Falco's getting chased. You're like, and you just have to prioritize a searchlight before anything. And
Cat.
if Cat or Falco or one of those key members goes down, they don't help you shoot down the searchlights because they shoot down some essential ones when you're divided between paths.
Yeah, exactly. Like she'll go left and you'll go right, and she's there in. So what's the one after Zones? Sector Y?
Sector Z.
Sector Z. She'll show up. Like she disappears at the end of Zones, and Falco's like, "Oh, Cat, where'd you go, baby?" And then you go to Sector Z, and after you've shot down the first missile, then she shows up because then it's 2 missiles coming at the Great Fox, and then it's 3, and then that's the end of the level. But if even one missile hits, then you get bumped to the medium path again.
Really?
Yeah. You can't let a single missile
I didn't know
hit.
that.
Yeah. That's how taking out all the missiles is how you stay on the hard path. That was probably the craziest dogfight level. Because there's so many enemy ships in that one.
For me, the most overwhelming dogfight one was the Katina because I couldn't tell who was who at first.
That's
like it's so easy to just shoot down your own people on that one.
Like, hey, what's the big idea?
Yeah. And they're like, "No, Fox, that's one of ours." Like Bill's like getting all angry at you. He's like, "That's one of ours, Fox. Pay attention." Like Like, and I think they do make them similar to kind of like fuck with you a little bit. Like they're not similar, but if they're flashing by you, it's easy to mistake them if you're from a distance. Like you have to get up close to see that it's like a this pattern instead of like a Y wing kind of pattern.
Sure. Part of that I think
Yeah,
is like hardware limitation and the shapes they could make or whatever.
yeah, of
But
course.
in the Sector Z, there's so many enemy ships, and you're just for the first like couple minutes, you're just in that dogfight. Like there's no missiles, and you're just you
Yeah.
don't know what's going on. You think you just got to take out all these guys, and you got ships going this way and that way. Like everyone's going in every direction, and you're trying not to shoot your own guys, like you said on Katina. And then all of a sudden, you get an alert from Great Fox that there's a missile approaching. You're like, oh my god! So you have to bail on the dogfight, and while they're chasing you and like shooting at you from the back or the sides, you have to try and take the missiles down. Like it's nuts.
It is nuts, but it's if you prioritize the missiles and you let whatever will happen, it is pretty easy.
Yeah,
Because the thing is if you just go straight for the missiles, it's kind of like bam,
but there's a gap, right?
right?
There is a gap.
Yeah, there is. There's
So
a gap.
you
There's a small gap.
you rush for the missile. You're getting
Take
shot
it down.
at. Yeah, take it down, and then you can sort of go back to the dogfight, and then there's two missiles, and then you take those down, and then Kat shows up, and she's helping you with the fighters, and then you have three missiles, and it's like, oh my god. I like one of them got pretty close for me, but I managed to do it. But like you said, as soon as you take out the last missile on the third wave, like it's over.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which was a relief.
Yeah.
I thought I was still gonna have to go after all the ships, and I was like, no one's gonna survive this. No one's gonna make it out of
Yeah,
this.
and it's the only one that doesn't have like a boss, for lack of a better word.
Yeah, I guess the missiles are the boss if you want to
Yeah.
sort of argue that point, but yeah, there's no big bad enemy.
No, and I mean, but that one is specifically, I think one thing I like about those dogfight levels the most is they're reminiscent of something that I think the N64 did well during this era, because they also did this with Rogue Squadron, where you get these areas where you just have to fight things. I think it was Rogue Squadron, right? The one where you had to play as the Y wings and the X wings and stuff like that. In Star Wars.
I didn't play any of the N64 Star Wars games, so I don't
No?
know. I know about like
Ooh,
X-wing
dude.
versus Tie Fighter and those, but I didn't play. So I don't know which game you're talking about.
So Rogue Squadron was a giant game that took the Star Fox principle and put it on steroids. So it was like everything was like you just got plunged into a famous battle between the Empire and the Republic. And then your whole job was to accomplish something like take down all the AT walkers or take down all the or defend the base or shoot everything or save this train as it's flying. And it was like that on steroids. And those Star Fox dogfight ones, I feel like were the precursor to that entire game. Because that entire game was like, here's a giant zone. You guys have to dogfight it out in the zone while you're accomplishing objectives. And that's what it, and Star Fox really set the way for that.
Neat. I'm gonna have to check that out.
Because I don't think there was any of that in the Star Fox Nintendo. I don't think there was any of those dogfight levels.
No,
I think there was just a straight shoot.
Yeah, always a straight shot. That was the start of what they call like vector graphics on the Super Nintendo, and there was some games that tried to use it. I remember a racing game, but it was just it was too much it was super slow and clunky, and Star Fox had a nice balance. Like if you're just playing like the normal level, it would work pretty well. But Super Nintendo Star Fox had a lot of the slowdown issues. To see that like evolved into the N64 version, I remember like seeing it in like Nintendo Power or on Video and Arcade Top 10, like these magazines or shows on TV. And I was like, oh my god, like this Star Fox game like looks incredible.
Yeah.
I want to play this so bad, and a friend got it, and I was like, oh my god, like I can't believe I get to play Star Fox. Like it was awesome.
And let's not forget the Rumble Pack. Okay, I'm just.
You seem very fond of this Rumble Pack. What were you and the Rumble Pack doing back then?
Whoa, let's settle down here. Okay, settle down. It's a family channel. Okay,
Oh, yeah.
We're not dropping fuck bombs all over the place. Anyways, no, the Rumble Pack was just. It was just like it was innovative, I guess, just because it just came out of nowhere. And for Star Fox specifically, I remember plugging it in and like you just play through it, right? Because you either on N64 you either needed to plug in the Rumble Pack in the back or you needed a save pack.
Yeah.
One of the two for certain games, right? So you didn't need a save pack, so you just rumble your way through things, and it was great. But I don't know. It was just unique. It was no other game made me feel like I was in it. Right.
Yeah, yeah, and to as much as I rag on the N64 controller, you could almost argue the way it was shaped. It was like you were, flying the joystick of
Yeah.
a ship.
Yeah.
Or
Don't give them that much credit though.
I think it was a happy coincidence. I don't think they meant for it, but like
Yeah.
you could get into it, and it's like, yeah,
Yeah.
I've
100%.
got the joystick. Well, let me
Breaking
ask
Star Fox.
let me ask you this: It's been, well, 20 years that we've had Rumble packs, maybe more.
Okay.
Do you still love the Rumble, Mike?
No, I fucking hate it on some games. I turned it off now. On some games, I'm like, bro, I don't need this gimmick. I just need to focus on the fucking game right now. Like sometimes I'll be playing a game and I'm like, now is not the time. Now is not the time to be rumbling on me.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to focus here. Well, that's why I haven't even tried the haptic controllers with the PS5, right? Like, right, where they actually give you resistance and everything now.
That I'm curious. I haven't tried that either, but I would like to try that. Like the haptic feedback isn't Rumble, right?
Yeah.
It's not gonna just shake like crazy
No.
when you're doing something. So I'm still curious to try one of those controllers.
Well, look, before we start winding down here, the other question I wanted to ask was one thing, because one thing I love about this game is that you go through a path and it's a run, right? The way they keep you in this game is you get a better and better score on every run, right? And then the military gets a bill and they're like, that was very expensive.
Yeah.
And yeah, but who was your like, do you remember who survived the most for you?
Peppy.
Peppy?
Peppy for sure. Well, like they're all kind of your crew are archetypes, right? I mean, Slippy Toad is the young newbie who's always getting himself into trouble. He crashes his ship on that Titania, and you have to rescue him. And I find he dies the most, or could have accidentally been shot by Fox McCloud a few times. Falco, whenever he's getting chased, I just find like the window to rescue him. I always found this like the shortest, and I would probably fail it, especially in the first few runs. So yeah, Pepe was just he's the seasoned vet. He's not the cocky arrogant guy like Falco going off on his own, or also kind of Slippy going off on his own because he's a rookie and inexperienced. Pepe, he's got the experience. He knows he would survive.
Yeah, I mean, it was crazy on my hard run. For me, I was actually divided between Pepe and Slippy surviving the most. For me, Falco died nonstop. I think on my easy run, Falco was there for 2 levels, and that's it. Like Corneria, or 3 levels. Corneria, then he comes back, dies right away. Next one comes back, dies right away. Like he was squishy by far. I remember though on my hard run, Peppy and Slippy made it for almost the entire run until Sector 6, where I lost everyone but Peppy. Peppy got it, but I never lost Peppy once on that run, on that hard run. He was the only time I got ever through.
Peppy's the
I know
goat.
he was. He was, man. But on my medium run, I was pretty proud because on my medium run, I kept them all alive for almost every level, except for I think I lost someone in one of them. I only lost someone once, and I think it was on Venom at the very end. And I was like super proud because I was like, oh, I almost kept my whole team together. Like that felt like such a sense of accomplishment.
Do you remember what your biggest bill was to the general?
No.
No, I think for me, it was my last run. It was like 55,000 space bucks.
Yeah, it was probably something like that too, because I think my highest score was like 800 something, I think, or something like that. I don't even remember what the total score was.
Right.
Like I didn't really. I just remember him just getting really on my hard run too. That's when he got angry. He's like, this is pretty expensive. He's like, but it's worth it. Like, and I was like, oh, okay, so that matters apparently.
Well, let me ask you this: this game at the end has that classic arcade, highest score system that we're talking about, where you can only put in 3 letters.
Yeah.
What 3 letters did you put in for your scores, Mike?
Oh, dude, I was MJK, bro, always. But what'd you put?
P-O-O.
Fox?
P-O-O.
Oh my God, you're that guy.
Of course.
You're the guy. Oh my God, you're the guy who then taints, and I use that very specifically, taints my high score meter because he showed up at my house once, played the game when I wasn't looking, put poo on there,
Yeah.
or pee,
Or
and then
ass.
I'm stuck, or ass, and I'm stuck in the shadow of that
Yeah.
for my entire fucking career.
You'll forever
on
be
that
in the
game.
shadow of poo, Mike.
Yeah, thanks for that. Well, Steve, I mean, like, do you want to leave us with a final Reader's Digest for the game, or what?
Nah, I think for this should be this one was more your baby than mine. I think you should sign us off.
But I'm gonna do it for Mass Effect too.
Are you? I think I could.
I don't know. You're right.
We could both rap poetic about Mass Effect. I think.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. Well, I mean, look, for Star Fox, for me, if you're looking to figure out why Nintendo 64 was such a good console, why the games were sort of immortalized the way they were, and why Star Fox keeps popping up in
Starbucks.
Nintendo. I did. That's gonna have to get canceled
Yeah.
out of that. We're gonna have to blank that. But no, but as if you wonder why Star Fox keeps popping up in Nintendo lore as like Super Smash keeps going and they keep trying to revitalize Star Fox in some way, it's because the legend that was the Nintendo 64 game. It was a kinetic, fast-paced game that was really a fun flyer that set a tone for what flyers should be that aren't bullet hell going forward.
Yeah. And honestly, like, you don't need in the era of the 20, 30, 40, 50 hour plus games, you don't need that for this one. You know, if you got like an hour, even less, like you can get through a run.
Yeah.
You know, if you have a couple hours, you can probably get through like 2 or 3 and you'll have fun. Or maybe you won't finish one and you'll have to restart, but you'll have gotten better for the next one.
100%. And it is that thing of just kind of like sit down, have some fun. There's no stakes because you can always do a run next time.
Yeah. There's no save, right? There's no saving in this one.
No, there isn't. There's just die.
Save. Yeah.
There's just die and restart.
The only options you get are like proceed, change course, or retry, and death.
You get the checkpoints, but I mean, like, you know, for like the Star Wolf fight, you just get screwed over if you're not perfect.
Yeah, but like I think each run is 6 levels, which I don't think we mentioned, or 6 or 7 levels with the last boss. But it's not like you can do like 2 levels, save it, turn the console off, and come back. No, you have to finish.
And you don't need to spend an hour. I mean, this is that kind of game that can remind you what gaming kind of evolved from, which was just sit down, spend an hour or two, get lost. Not everything has to be a huge RPG. Not everything has to be 100 to 200 hour plus game or 60 hour plus game. Sit down, get badass, shoot some shit, and it's only gonna take an hour of your life. Feel like a badass.
I think that's it. That's a beautiful way to end it right there, Mike.
Well, we're back, baby.
Yeah.
We're back.
All games go to heaven, except for Ocarina of Time. But thank you, everyone.
Okay.
And,
Bye.
fantastic.
Great game.
That was a great game. One of the greats.
Great.